They weren't going to bring in any new stores, and the idea was, rather than just have it like a dead shell, how could you activate it? And they thought art would be a good way to activate it. I've done a lot of public art projects in abandoned spaces, strange spaces, so they thought of me. And when they asked me to come down, I came down skeptically. I just thought, oh, I don't know, is this going to either be too corporate? Is this going to be too depressing? And then the corporate people were fantastic, the arts people were great, and the space, more important than anything, spoke to me, and I was just like, well, I have ideas. When I first came here, I mean, this project, almost everything I do is site-specific anywhere, which means I come to a place, I try to figure out what I want to do. I don't come with any preconceptions, and I try to make work that comes somehow from the experience of being in the place. And when I came here and I started to wander through the building, I found these signs that were only in the back, only for the workers, that would say things like, this is the visual door of magic, do not block, visual door of magic. This is your lounge, this is your day. And there was all these kind of positive messages, you are the magic. And I guess under the surface it's probably meant like, feel good, go out and sell well, make the client feel well. But I kind of loved it as this strange found poetry. I didn't want to make fun of people. I didn't want to make fun of the place in any way. I just took that as this language I found. There's a sign, one of my photographs when you come up the escalator says, find your way. And that was just like by a drippy leak over by an elevator for the workers, which this idea of find your way I thought was also very poetic. And the people who commissioned me to make this installation, when I first was setting it up, they said, okay, well, what do you want people to do? And I was like, I want them to find their way. I don't want to tell them, go to the left, go to the right, stay for 10 minutes, stay for an hour. I want people to actually like stay in their own, whatever speaks to them, and don't feel that there's rules imposed upon them. The best compliment that ever happens for my work is people say that they left the exhibition and they were listening to the world differently. So it wasn't like, oh, we loved your piece because it sounded like this. It was more like they listened and then they went out and they suddenly noticed the way that the bird and the helicopter kind of collided in the soundscape. They were listening to rain on top of their roof as they drove, and they found it interesting rather than annoying or something they tuned out. You hear bells all through my piece. That's these lampshades that I found downstairs, and I would just ding them and then I'd play them. There's a buzzing behind me. That's the electrical system that I tuned up and down. That there's potential in things that you never gave thought to. I hope I can share with people is that, I mean, I think a lot of us, especially coming through school, feel like we have to fit within certain parameters of, if I'm going to do this, this is the way I have to be. If I'm going to do this, this is the way I have to be. But a lot of it is that the more that we're exposed to, the more that we realize those doors can either get wider or that this door can lead to that door. The walk from Dreyfus to CityPlace seems like you go through this massive cultural and kind of consumer shift. And you go from where people are to where people shop. And I think part of bringing art in here is to give it a look and, in my case, a sound that is like no other place, because there's Macy's everywhere, there's Victoria's Secrets, but how do you have those things but also make it shine in a new way?